This lesson will incorporate evidence-based practice to integrate research, expertise, and personal preferences to develop your exercise program. We will also be incorporating the habitual behavior lessons that we've learned up to this point. So this method offers courses of action that are more likely to succeed rather than just using one perspective. And this will involve intrinsically committing to new behaviors, proactively preparing for new actions, and practicing initial self-regulation to initiate the habit-forming process. Now, very importantly, positive early experiences will grow your motivation, they will help with consistency, and they will help you recognize patterns to identify opportunities for sustaining your behavior change. Together, the habit loop of action, reward, and cue are more likely to be established, ensuring sustained engagement and a very positive outcome with a more tailored fitness program that you prefer. As this is a global problem, a lot of research has been conducted on this topic. So what has research found? Startlingly, more than 2/3 of Americans are overweight, with over 30% of them being obese. And related to this, 78% of Americans do not exercise regularly, and put more accurately, 78% of Americans do not exercise. So why is this? Habitual behavior in our daily lives is driven by obligation. So despite the potential for exercise to become habitual, so we know it's got excellent benefits, so we should make it a habit. But despite this, most people fail to make it a regular habit. So a habit formation is distinguished from just behavior repetition based on a mental desire and readiness to act. However, most individuals struggle to maintain consistency with exercise since they don't actually desire to act. And this points to the very important aspect of repetition early in a program as a pivotal aspect to establishing that habitual formation. And so again, keep in mind that if we do something with intention or occasionally, that may make us feel good, but that would absolutely put us in the 78% of the population that does not exercise. So keep that in mind. It has to be habitual. So that being said, really, poor health is actually a psychological problem more than it is a physical problem. On this slide, we're going to explore what distinguishes the 22% that do exercise from the 78% of Americans that do not exercise. So there's a conflict between immediate gratification and long-term benefits associated with exercise. And research suggests that strategies for self-control involve asymmetrical evaluation of options that would be enhancing our goal evaluations pertaining to exercise while minimizing or constraining competing responses with other goals or tasks that we may have in our daily routines. Additionally, the depletion of self-control leads us to increased susceptibility to temptations throughout the day and decreases our likelihood to adhere to our exercise routines. So as such, regular exercisers, they do benefit and utilize behavioral priming. So they prepare themselves to exercise each day, and with this repeated practice daily, their self-regulation is less used. So they look at exercise as an absolute guarantee. They know it's going to happen. They've prepared their mind. So self-regulation is less of a tool that they have to use each day as compared to the non-exercisers who have to fight temptations with their self-regulation throughout the day, which again becomes more depleted as the day goes on, leaving them more susceptible to temptations. Conversely, non-exercisers struggle due to weaker goal intentions, so they intend to exercise, but it's not nearly as intense as an exerciser's intention to exercise or actually complete commitment to exercise. So autonomy also, or freedom, has been identified by research as a crucial psychological aspect as well. And evidence suggests that the lack of freedom in work contrasts sharply with our choices or freedom found in our leisure. So this is related to exercise as it competes with other activities within our leisure time, showing that the individuals feel most free during leisure. And this complicates adherence to exercise commitments by non-exercisers. Now, overcoming this perceived lack of freedom is crucial for exercise maintenance. Regular exercisers, those that exercise regularly, they perceive exercise as a complete non-choice. They integrate exercise as a vital, critical non-choice in their daily routine. And this leads to sustained involvement, sustained and regular behavior that they can completely plan for and expect, again, minimizing the need for self-regulation. For non-exercisers, on the other hand, they experience cognitive dissonance, and that plays a role in their decisions. So if they are going to decide whether or not to exercise, and they have that cognitive dissonance between this feels good, eating a donut, or this feels bad, exercising, there's that disconnect that causes problems with actual performance. And this conscious mind and thought begin to be a determinant in whether or not they exercise. And overall, while exercise is seen as an essential aspect of one's health by everyone, the non-exercisers struggle to prioritize it due to this perceived lack of freedom and this cognitive dissonance that they're experiencing. Now, by pushing through with initial self-regulation, the workout routine can become more familiar even for the non-exerciser, thus requiring progressively less forethought. So this reduced deliberation also makes the workouts very easy, or at least easier, as we go along, and this allows us to reduce the amount of self-regulation needed over time. So with increased familiarity, missing the routine becomes more anomalous or more weird than actually doing the exercise. So with time, a non-exerciser can become an exerciser as long as they push through with initial self-regulation. We're going to now look at best practices that have been researched when it comes to establishing an effective workout routine that will become habitual for non-exercisers. So firstly, recall from previous lessons that habits take between 18 and 256 days to establish, depending on their complexity. When it comes to exercise, research has shown that it takes approximately, give or take, about 5 weeks of thoughtful cognitive effort and self-regulation to become routine. So that means we're going to have to push through initially, but after 5 weeks of being consistent and using our self-regulation, we're likely to have that routine become established in our daily routine. Next, it's very important, research has shown, to have initial success and a positive experience when we start to develop a new program. So this is going to be requiring planning, proper planning, good preparation, some implementation intentions for when we encounter obstacles and difficulties with our new routine. So rather than giving up, we want to make sure that we're ready to be successful, and we're setting ourselves up in the environment that we're working in, setting that up so that we can initially experience some positive interactions with our routine and our actual daily life. So if we're hating it, if we're failing a lot and so forth, that's going to be a big deterrent for establishing that new behavior. So again, don't start off overwhelming yourself. Start off simple, something that you can be successful with, and we can always add to it later. Next, automaticity is going to be very important. So consistency will result when we have decreased forethought. So once we've gotten used to the routine, so once we've done it a few times or a week or two, as we're pushing through that initial 5 weeks, we're going to notice that the forethought and planning is going to progressively reduce as we go through the process of establishing this routine. So keep in mind, simple behaviors and simple routines are important because they can become automatic easier. Next, it's going to be very important. Research has shown, of course, that we need to establish a good cue. So something that we can integrate our behaviors, our workout behaviors in, so within established situations or established daily routines. That way we can integrate the routine or workouts into what we do every day very easily without a lot of complexity. So again, establishing a good cue is very important to success. And keep in mind that there should be a priority for your routine. So simple is good. And if it's something that you find intrinsically important or a priority to you, that's going to be the best routine. So we can always improve it again later. So if you like it, if you're being consistent with it, that's the routine we're looking for. And if you're not getting the results that you want from it, that's fine. We can always change it and adapt it a little bit, but we have to have a routine that's been established that we can actually adjust. So if there's no routine, if you're simply a non-exerciser, that's the worst possible scenario. So anything is better than that. So once we have got something established, you have become an exerciser, it's a priority, it's a non-choice, then you can make it better. As we wrap up this lesson, there's some very important but obvious takeaways that we need to consider. First of all, demand of yourself to become part of the 22% of the population that exercises every day. Make this a fact. It's a non-choice. Don't have intentions to become an exerciser. Be an exerciser. So that's a given. Whether you have a terrible exercise routine or a very productive one, at least become part of the 22%. We can always make it better, but we've got to drop the intentions of I'm going to exercise, because that phrase right there, I'm going to start exercising, puts you in the 78% that's getting nothing done. So even with the worst exercise program, have it established in your day, every single day, it's going to get done. Move yourself into the 22% of the population that exercises every day. Secondly, exercise is critical for both your physical and your mental health. So we know there's a physical aspect to it, and that's very important, but there's also a mental aspect to it. And research has shown that there's a cognitive mental decline over time for non-exercisers. And that actually implies that exercising or establishing a new exercise routine becomes more and more difficult as we get older, because we can't prioritize things properly or as well because of our mental decline, which is just terrible. So exercise is very, very important for our overall quality of life. And then finally, being healthy requires psychological tool of habit formation. This is not self-regulation. It may require some self-regulation initially, but not exercising is far more of a psychological issue than it is a self-discipline issue or a physical issue. So use that psychological tool of habit formation to get a great exercise program started or established and improved upon as we go along. But get yourself into a habitual exercise program routine each day. So for our action item this week, I simply want you to take what we've learned in this course and commit to a purposeful exercise routine over the next 5 weeks. So we've probably already started this a little bit, so you've had a little bit of experience on making a plan and thinking about it some. But at this point, for this action item, we need to actually push this through for the next 5 weeks to get it established. We can always change it later, so don't worry about making it perfect. But I want you over the next 5 weeks to get this exercise routine off the ground. That means every day we're gonna get it done. Now, it does not have to be perfect. You can make mistakes, but do it every single day. If you fail to get it done in a single day, just pick up where you left off the next day, and the habit can be reestablished, and you don't have to restart the 5 weeks over. but I do want you to try to commit to not missing a single day for the next 5 weeks. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. And as always, remember, we are forging your future one habit at a time.